Hey everyone, welcome to the Perfect Your Purpose podcast, where we speak with unique individuals across the country. They share their journeys with us, how they got there, how they overcame anything to get there, and how they're living out their unique purpose in their daily life. So I'm so excited to have with me today Tate, who's actually a former Miss Indiana USA, and she recently, within the past year, is now a business owner of an online and mobile boutique called Shop Tate Ry, which I personally bought from, and I think you guys have the cutest stuff. So I love seeing, all of your new products coming in and whatnot. Yeah, so I guess just tell me how that got started.
Yeah, so I worked at a boutique in high school and I didn't really know what I was doing, but as soon as I was like, this is so much fun. Like I could definitely do this for the rest of my life. And so I went to college and I was studying business and I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. And I was trying to figure it out. And during that whole process, I became Miss Indiana. And while we were at Miss USA, you're surrounded by like the coolest people, and it's just like, so motivating. You feel like you could do absolutely. And so I came home from Miss USA and I was like, well, I'm going to do it. Like, what's stopping me now? Like, I've done this. I can do this easily, which I thought, and so I started the whole paperwork, the legal stuff. I did everything. And then we opened. So Miss USA was in May, I think. And when we officially opened in November that year. And so I was still in college. I was just trying to figure it out as I went, and I was still taking classes. I was doing an internship, and I had no intentions at the time of doing it full time. Like I dreamed of it, but I was like, I don't know if this is really realistic. Yeah. And so we were just kind of slowly doing things on the side while I had free time. And then when Corona happened, I came home for spring break and I just never went back to school. And online shopping just really picked up at that time. And it just kind of helped us sell. And I felt like I had so much more time to invest because I was just at home all the time. I was either studying or I was working on this. So it really took off. And I was like, well, I guess if there's a time to pursue something like this full time, like now's the time. So we really went for it. And then my sister and we rodeo. So actually she rodeos a lot more than I do, but there's rodeos weren't shut down near as much as the rest of the world was this past summer. And so we would take our store and set up and go to all these events. And so that was really fun. And then as it got colder, we didn't do as many, but now we're looking into getting a trailer so we can do that this summer. So that'll be fun, make it really mobile. And so that's just kind of how we got started. It's been kind of figure it out as you go. And it's been really fun.
I'm sure it's been cool, interesting, but a little, difficult to navigate through COVID too. And just the whole pandemic, because first of all, you're launching this business and then, something that no one's ever experienced, like happens to all of us. And you're like, okay, so, what's next? Kind of, how do we transition with this world right now? And did you have any kind of obstacles in that whole process of 2020?
I think part of it is because I was looking for full-time jobs at the time. And if I found something, I didn't feel like it was where I was meant to be at. And so I was struggling, like, do I pursue this full time? Are people actually going to stop the pandemic when like there's like a world crisis going on and people are buying clothes? In my mind, it didn't make sense, but I just about it. And every time I would like kind of get nervous or I would just turn it to God and he would show me in the coolest ways that this is like where I'm meant to be. And so for me that I just had to, and I still do every day. It's like every time I doubt something, it's like God's just like, Tate, like I'm here, I'm in control of everything. So for me, that was one of the biggest obstacles, was just the fear of failing. It's just part of it, and just trusting the process, because you just never know what tomorrow will hold, and there's good days and there's bad days. Some days are awesome and some days it's it's like very slow. So you just have to go with the ebbs and flows of it and just have faith and just keep working really, really hard and being really consistent. Thing, I think.
Yeah, dedication. I think too, like no matter what job or position you're in, I mean, even if it's something you absolutely love, there's going to be those days sometimes where you're like, I just don't really like have the motivation to do this today. And I feel like you have to dig deep into that discipline and realize like there's nothing else I would rather be doing more It's just like human nature. Like it just happens. Like no matter what it is that you're doing, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, but overall, I mean, it's what you're pursuing your passion, what you want to be doing. So I think it's so exciting. Do you feel like there's anything in the process, like, I don't know, that you came about that you didn't know, like it's e-commerce, like it's different. Like, did you go to school for that, or do you feel like you're just learning along the way?
I remember when I like started the legal paperwork, and I was in business school, and so and
Okay.
like I feel like I went to a pretty decent school. I went to Butler, so I was like, I felt very prepared.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do anything,
Yeah.
and I started the legal work, and nobody tells you how to do that, like how to
No.
make your tax or how to sign up through your state or what taxes you're supposed to pay. Those things to me were very confusing. I studied marketing and management information systems, so like computers and databases, which I'm not interested in that at all. But that has helped, and the marketing has definitely helped, especially with branding, because I know with marketing, a lot of times you study, creating a brand, creating a whole just experience for people, and like everything you post on social media should be. It's not just selling a product. You're motivating people, you're encouraging people, you're telling them about your background, but with shopping, like you can incorporate that, but so much of driving people to your website is showing the products you have. So it's just finding a healthy balance in that. Another thing we didn't know was just finding the right vendors. That is really, really tough. And we hadn't been to market before. And I think we're going to go this year, but just doing all of that on ordering things and hoping that they came in right, and just not knowing, there's just so many things like that. We were just like, oh my gosh, it's just something new all the time. So
Yeah.
Definitely a huge learning curve owning your own business. It's like having a child almost, it's just constant. It's all the time.
I love that.
So found respect for those who own their own businesses. Like it's something else.
And so you started this with your sister, is that correct?
Yes, my sister and I did it together, and I took it to Butler with me, so she wasn't with me, but we would still text and call about things all the time. And she's still, so it was like on her free time when she had time, because like I don't want to overwhelm her with things. So but we do this together, and she helps me a lot with buying and picking things out, and then she'll model for me when she has time. So that's been really fun to get to do.
That is so awesome. Do you feel like, has shopping or clothes or boutiques, like, has that always been a passion of yours? Do you feel like I know we always, when we're young, we're like, I know I wanted to be a veterinarian for a long time, and then I wanted to be like an infectious disease doctor, and I went to school for like business marketing like you did, and now I'm kind of doing that. I'm doing other things as well. But
Right.
do you feel like there was always like a subconscious, like you loved putting clothes together or something when you were younger, and this kind of led to
Yeah.
here? Or where do you think that passion came from?
I think so. When I was little, I always told my parents I was going to have a pink store, and it was called the Pink Store. And when I was probably like 3 or 4, and they were like, yeah, Tate, whatever. And so I started working at the boutique in high school. I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this. It's always constant, it's evolving, it's fast. Like I just loved it. And I didn't think of it being like, I thought it would be something I would do when I was 30. I didn't, like, when I had saved money up. I didn't know. But with this whole Corona thing, it just kind of led, everything happens for a reason. So
Totally.
I always wanted to do it. I just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Mhm.
Right. We at Miss USA, we did the whole Miss Congeniality thing, which I wasn't expecting at all. And they actually sent me a check for that. And I was like, oh my
That's
gosh, like that.
awesome.
And I saw it, and my sister's like, you're putting that in your savings account and you're not touching it. And I was like, oh, sure. Okay. And so I was like going to buy inventory. I was like, well, if there's a time to use it, now's the time. So
Yeah.
kind of nice too, because it does cost a lot to start too. I mean, people will tell you it doesn't cost a lot, but I guess it's all relative. Like, it's just for example, every piece of clothing we have to buy 6 to 8 of. So it's not just one piece; it's like 8. It adds up pretty fast.
For sure.
So that was interesting too.
Yeah, that is. And I just feel like, it's something where I know I just was briefly talking to before this podcast started, how I wanted to do this a year ago, and then just life just happens and you don't do it. And I wanted it to be perfect. And then it just actually set me back further and further because I was like, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this part of it. Like, how am I going to do this? And then the year went by and nothing happened. So I was like, I just got to do it. Like, there's a point in your life where you're just like, I need to stop like worrying about what could happen and do it. And you learn along the way, I think. And obviously, like what you've been saying, that's exactly kind of how you went about your business, and it's working out.
I had the same thought. I was like, I want it to be perfect. I want all of the photos to be perfect, all of our
Yeah.
product shots. That for me was hard too, because a lot of times I was on my own at school. So I was like, who's going to take my photos? How are these going to be perfect? Like what's going to happen? And you just have to make it work. And I know our photos get better as we grow, but they're still not perfect. You just have to make it work and move on, because that's honestly how I kind of go about a lot of things. Just make it work, move on,
Yeah.
and you'll learn. You'll perfect it as you
Exactly.
at it.
Just life in general, I feel like, right?
Exactly.
What would you, what kind of advice do you think you would give to someone who, maybe it's not a boutique that they want to open, but someone who's like scared to follow that dream of theirs and like take that leap of faith?
First I would pray about it, because that's just like my automatic go-to. But first pray about it and just like ask God to lead you, because he will show you signs of where you're supposed to be, and he will close the doors he doesn't want for you and open. You just really have to look for him, because sometimes you might think you want something and you kind of follow that, but in reality, like, he's got something else right on the other side of that door for you. But the other thing, you have to just, instead of saying what if, just go for it. And if it fails,
Mhm.
it fails. Just don't. And if it fails, like, you can still get back up and try again. It's not over if it failed. I think sometimes like, I'll pray about things and maybe it'll fail, but that doesn't mean God's telling me to quit this business. Like,
Right.
it keep pursuing it and to keep trusting it, and just remembering like what you're most passionate about, because I think deep down, like, we all know that we love something.
Mhm.
Maybe you don't know you like fully, like, career wise or a relationship, whatever it is, but I think we all like just have a passion about something, and so just following that, I think, really helps lead you to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm curious now, like, when you were going through this process and you're like just digging more into your faith and like trusting God in the process and praying about it, what do you feel like, well, what were some of those signs, I think, that helped you know you were kind of making the right decisions and leading you in the path that you were kind of meant to take?
Well, for one, I think sometimes, well, last spring I was still doing school and doing this, and so I would have to divide my time, and sometimes like days would be slower with sales or just shopping in general, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
And then about it, and as soon as I put the effort in, like, things just escalate so quickly. And so I know there's still times all the time where I doubt things, and I'm like, I still don't know, like, is this where I'm supposed to be, is this what I'm supposed to do? And I'll pray about it, and I'm like, God, just show me, like, give me a
Yeah.
sign, like, me g- go on the path that you've created for me. And when he does, he just shows up in countless ways. And I think one, like, small example is just like, sometimes I'll get notifications like, oh, it's a really, like, a big sale from somebody. Not that
Yeah.
sales like are like what we're after, but like,
Yes.
I mean, like, it's just like he just shows up in the coolest ways. And or maybe it's a collaboration with somebody, or maybe it's a vendor that we've been trying to work with for a really long time, and they finally email us back, or we get a shipping notification about something that we've ordered a long time
Yes.
ago. But like, just small things like that, and it's just like, just seeing him in the everyday. I think recently we've been kind of, I've just been nervous, just because it's like after Christmas, people, or like, who wants to really spend a lot of money after Christmas?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, maybe January won't be as great. And, but there's been other things that have happened. Like, we've been looking for a cargo trailer that we can kind of revamp, paint turquoise, make it super cute for people to shop out of. And I've been putting that on the back burner. And one of our friends texted us. He's like, I have one at this really great price. So it's just kind of like small things like that for in the everyday, and just like find the joy in the little things, I think.
Absolutely. Small victories along the way. That's so cool. Where are you gonna take is it gonna be like a mobile shop? Where is it going? What's
Yeah,
the plan?
it's gonna be mobile. We've always thought about opening up. We have a mini shop at a tanning salon here in town,
Okay.
but we also do a lot online still. And so I'm moving. I'm actually moving 3 hours north of here in June, so we can't do anything permanent for a while because I'm getting married. So
Congrats.
everything is gonna move up to Indianapolis, and we'll make a little warehouse or storage space, and
Yeah.
then we can take to shows, we can take to rodeos, we can take to events or maybe house parties. I don't know,
So fun.
but we're gonna do it because it's just right now when we go to places, we pack everything in my Forerunner and my sister's truck, and we just like shove the tent, all of the clothes, all the decorations, like everything. We're jam packed. Trailer would be so so nice just to have the
So
space.
nice. Oh my gosh, I love that. Do you think that you'll plan to have when you're in Indianapolis, like 5, 10 year plan of opening a store? Where do you kind of see the future of Tate and Rye going?
Potentially we would like to open a store. I really like online just because
Yeah.
very flexible. Like we still work all the time, but if I have to run to go pick my sister up, or we have horses, so if like there's an emergency with a horse, like I can just walk
Yeah.
away. So do stuff with that. And if I have say kids, maybe in 5 to 10 years, like the whole flexibility thing is so nice. There's still, I think honestly, there's more time into it because it is online, so you like can always work all the time.
Yes.
But I do really like just the flexibility of it. But hopefully, where I'm moving to is kind of a small town, and so potentially we could have a little mini storefront where people could come in and pick up orders or shop. I don't know, but I really want a warehouse. I think that would be. It's just I love shipping. I just love the whole aspect of it. So hopefully, maybe a storefront, but maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
figure it
see.
out.
See where it goes. See where it takes you. See how the years come by. I think that's so amazing. Just the whole story and just taking that leap of faith because I think that's sometimes what like the largest thing that's in our way is like ourselves and our thoughts and our how we want to make everything perfect and it really like hinders us from what we really should be doing or want to be doing. Do you
Most definitely.
Yeah, do you feel like you're finally on the path to like living out your purpose, perfecting your purpose in this season of your life?
Yeah, I think I'm constantly like asking God, like, God, show me my purpose. And he keeps showing me. He's probably like, Tate, like, you get it? Like, just like, so I think I just have to like be consistent. And when I do, like, I just trust him fully. But then sometimes I get so busy in the day to day that I'm like, oh God, you're still there. Like, you're in control
Yeah.
of all this. One of the things I really do is just like ask him to like, I'm like, this is your business. This is not mine. This is yours. Like, you're
Yeah.
in control. And when I do, and I relinquish all of that, it just works out so well. So many great things happen. So I think I am. It's just a constant. It's a constant learning curve and a constant
Yeah.
path finding your purpose,
Yeah, constantly growing in it
perfecting it.
and yeah, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Do you feel if you could give advice to someone who feels like they're not sure what their purpose is, or if they're living it out, what would you say to him or her? Someone who doesn't know what their purpose is or is still trying to find it.
Find the things. I think it cut out, so I think I know what you're asking. But finding the things that make you happy, and joyful, and maybe you really like your career right now, but there's something else you're passionate about. Um, Pursue it and see how it works out. I think um, maybe your passion might not be your career. I don't know. It just depends. But
Yeah.
don't be afraid because I think when you wake up and you love what you do or you're going to do that day, it just makes the world of a difference. I mean, there's days that I always want to get up and pack orders or but I
Yeah.
still love it. So I think it's just part of it, and just really finding the things that make you happy, and you can
Yes.
make a career or whatever you want to do out of anything. So
Yeah, I totally agree. Where can people find you if they want to find Shop Tate and Rye, follow you personally? I mean, I love just following your journey, not just with your store, but personally, because I also am a woman of faith. I love your values and where you come from. And it's just nice knowing someone else out there is, doing something so good and with such pure intentions. Obviously got miscongeniality. So like
Well, thank you.
you're a gem, but, where can everyone find you? Socials, website?
Our website is shoptateandry.com. You can go to Facebook. We have a business page. We also have a VIP page where we post all of our new arrivals first, or we at least try to. It's a lot to keep up with. We also have Instagram. Post on all the time. It's at Shop Tate Ry, and my personal one is at Tate Fritchley. And then we also have TikTok. Again, I'm not very good with keeping up with everything, but we try to
Always
do
something new.
always something new. But definitely follow us on Instagram. That is find the most, or we post the most. Sorry, I just got a phone call.
That's great. Awesome. Well, thank you so much Tate for joining me today. I look forward to seeing where your journey goes, shopping more with you. And I just really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks for having me.